Well, sharing things doesn't come easily for most kids, and it's not a skill that adults have completely mastered. So when can you expect your young ones to get the hang of it? Parenting expert Claire Orange is with us now. Good afternoon, Claire.
Hi, Tracy.
Well, sharing is obviously a skill that needs to be developed. How do you encourage or teach it?
Well, I think there's a healthy respect around waiting for turn-taking and sharing to establish. It's developmental, so really the child up until the age of 4 or 5 isn't developmentally ready to do the sharing. It's based on empathy. It's quite a complex brain-based behaviour. So really when we're going to teach a child to share, it's through modelling ourselves, being very patient, putting them in really safe social containers where they get to practice those skills, and there's lots of forgiveness when they get it wrong for a very long time.
Well, there's an interesting case study of a dad who didn't want to force his daughter to share her favourite toy. He says she shouldn't have to share with someone just because they've asked for it. Is that fair?
Well, you know, Trace, do you just hand your mobile phone off to anyone and go, sure, look, have a turn, it's fine. I think all of us have things that we don't want to share, even as big people. There's things I really don't want to share. So I think having a healthy respect about what we will and won't share with our kids, because we have it ourselves, so we can't hold our kids to higher standards. So I think we can't say that about everything, but about some things, we don't have to share everything.
All right, to have that healthy boundary, I suppose. But I mean, how young do you start teaching that sort of boundary, you know, those boundaries?
Well, you know, I think every 2, 3 and 4-year-old will just not share with you, so that's pretty fine. My 4-year-old had a shirt that said, you know, pretty much everything I touch is mine. So sharing was not on in his world, and that was okay. So, you know, I think what we've got to do is say what you will and what you won't share with kids, and start to model that, and early as possible. You know, little babies can be taught and modelled the sharing. We can't expect that it's going to happen, but we can teach it.
Do you think with some parents they're asking too much of their kids, you know, teaching them that they should be sharing everything, or, you know, or giving them that choice?
I think every child should be given a choice. You know, that's respectful parenting, isn't it? And I think we can set up our homes and our classrooms and playgrounds to be respectful around that. So I think we've got to teach children the art of sharing. It's really important, you know. It's lovely to share, but it's also lovely to have your own thing and to know what the boundaries are around that. So every family needs to be having these discussions.
What about with siblings? Because that can certainly turn ugly.
It can. And I think because you're in an environment where you're kind of stuck with this kid that you didn't choose for a very long period of time, and you have all the same resources. I mean, if you go to a friend's house, they've been told, oh, you know, let your friend have first choice, so it's kind of lovely. It's not the same territory, so kids are going to fall out in homes. And I think as parents, we need to make sure that each child has the ability to say what they will and won't share. They have their own stuff and then shared stuff, and they're not letting them play together for too long. You know, play dates have a use-by date. We are pretty happy when kids go home. Well, I am. I'm pretty happy when 5 o'clock comes and they turf out the door. That's fabulous. Kids are like that too. Short periods of playtime means they share for a while, it's successful, we can feed back to them, and we grow that skill.
Again, setting that boundary.
Indeed.
All right, Claire, thank you so much for your time. We'll chat to you soon.
Thanks, Trace.